When we're talking about uncompensated care, we're talking about people being brought to the emergency room. And so our colleagues across the aisle asking that if someone is bringing their child who was just in a car accident and they happen to be brown or not speak English, we first ask, well, that's what we were talking about, the migrant crisis. I see the looks of disdain, but that's what we're talking about. That's what you have brought up. Are you going to demand, before any treatment starts, documentation and papers, or are the physicians going to immediately try and help that child? And yes, that puts a burden on our system. And yes, we need to pony up some more money for it. But if you want to vote against this supplemental, that's what you're talking about. That is what you're talking about, is trying to deny the care of somebody that shows up on the door. So I urge a yes on this supplemental. Thank you.
I think in the vernacular that would be called impugning motive. I'm pretty sure that was the definition of impugning motive.
Representative deGraaf, I welcome your conversation with you following our third readings about any procedures on the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That had nothing to do with the issue. If you want to get into the entire mess, let's open up the entire mess. Because uncompensated care, I mean, in the past, what we would probably assume is that anybody in this country, regardless of color, regardless of phenotype, something that an irrelevant physical characteristic, is that they are a citizen. And most likely they have insurance, because everybody in the country is required to have insurance. So this is not about asking hospitals to deny care based on skin color. That is an incredible allegation. What we've done, what this bodies like this have done, is they've said anybody that shows up at a hospital must be accepted, and then they have to be treated. And they have to be treated to the same level. And then when the hospitals couldn't stand that anymore and they started going out of business, then they said if somebody can just get to the property, if somebody can get within 200 yards of the hospital, then they have to be treated. And what you end up doing is you put hospitals out of business because of all your good intentions. And we know the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's the only road that's well maintained in Colorado. So you're putting hospitals out of business. You're putting hospitals out of business with your good intentions because none of you are showing up to the hospital to do the work. You're just demanding that somebody else do the work for you so that you can feel good about it. This, of course, is after you've devalued the citizens' wages by 22%, most likely 30% when you start looking at all the numbers. So a $60,000 family, they lost between $12,000 and $18,000 of their purchasing power. And then you jacked up the price of eggs, but that's another story. So this is not about denying care. This is about maintaining a functional system. And you can't maintain a functional system when you run it on emotion. This is a problem that this building created, that this building wants to put on the backs of the citizens of Colorado. No accountability, no introspection, just unfounded allegations of racism. This needs to be addressed systematically at the root. The root is this room. The citizens of Colorado are not bottomless pits of money from which you can continue to extract money. We have money in the ground, we could extract that. We could get billions of dollars in severance tax to pay for all of these little projects. Only about 40% of the severance tax is actually accounted for from talking to people that are in this world. So we're leaving it in the ground for climate superstitions. 1/2, 1 drop, 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools full of drops. That's why you're leaving the money in the ground. That's why you can't pay for this stuff. And instead, you go back and you drill deeper into the pockets of Coloradans. So trying to address the systematic failures of this body and the ideology that drives it, that's the problem. And I'll come back again. So deal with the problem, clean the house. Stop demanding that the citizens of Colorado pony up more money for the virtue preening out of this room.